were telling me on the phone and about how he was cooking the pigment in the frying pan.
Well, there was an opportunity. One time when I went round to see Francis, we went into the studio and there was a painting behind him, which was a large orange painting with the chicken hung up, and it was in progress at that time. And Francis and I were speaking, and to the left, far end of the studio, was that circular mirror, and there was a worktop that ran along the side that was piled high with debris. And what I noticed near the doorway close to me was a frying pan, and in the frying pan there was an orange pigment. And what suddenly struck me was that curious relationship of the frying pan and a little cuisine, as Degas would say. And Francis said to me, some pastel for the painting, which tied in again with the Degas thing to do with the notion of a little cuisine, because apparently from what I've read he was particularly interested in different ways of mixing different paints, and in particular trying to fix pastel. And so I said to Francis, I said, yes, I realised, I said, how do you fix it, Francis? And he said, because I said, he said it's for the backgrounds. And he said, I said to him, how do you fix it, Francis? And he looked at me, and there was this sudden moment of that he wasn't going to tell me, and he was looking for this way forward that he could get out of that one, and he just said that in the usual manner. He was an extremely generous man, and I remember looking on his bookshelves one evening and looking across the books, and Francis was talking to someone, and he just said, "Oh, take whatever you want, Michael." And he was always very generous with money and an incredibly generous person, but when it came to something to do with a sort of trade secret, so to speak, between painters, he wasn't going to tell me anything more about that. And someone did say to me, well, did you ask him any more? And I said, well, no, why would I? He made it quite clear that he wasn't going to say anything.
I can see a Degas pastel of the 1870s or 80s or something. I see that's pastel to me. But this is something a bit different, making it all for the orange background.
It suggests to me that the pastel is essentially just pigment, and to grind that up and then to mix it with oil paint just increases the vibrancy of the colour, and so it's boosting it with less binder. But as I say, we didn't discuss it. It was inappropriate to push him on that point.
No, I love that.
But it just suggests to me that it would be mixed with the same, with oil paint, just simply to boost the amount of pigment.
Right.
In the same way as traditionally the pigment was ground medium, fine or coarse and mixed in with the oil. And this would simply just boost it. The orange that was in this frying pan was kind of phosphorescent in its glow, which is why he would use it in that way, to get that vibrancy of colour. The thing about the studio, Reece Mews, was as soon as the door opened, those stairs and the rope, but it was more to do with the smell, distilled English turpentine. Smells like victory.